Hello everyone! Nais kong batiin kayo ng good morning, maayong buntag, maupay nga aga, maayong aga, na imbag gabigat kada kayo amin. Magandang umaga. Isang mapagpalang umaga sa ating lahat, and this is Teacher Wendy. I will be your host for today's webinar. Before we start, dear participants, let me first remind you of the following webinar reminders for the smooth flow of our program. First is I would like to invite everyone, most especially our dear participants here in Zoom, to kindly turn off your microphone and your camera as well. You may turn this on once the speaker asks you to do so, all right? Next is be engaged and attentive. Third, avoid distractions for you to be focused on our webinar. And last but not the least, use our meeting chat for your questions or queries. Also, you may key in your comments or suggestions for our today's discussion. And for those who are watching us live in Facebook, you may key in your queries and comments or suggestions as well in the comment section. Later on, babalikan po natin yan sa ating Q&A portion. Right? And at this moment, let me check our Facebook. Okay, we have 11 viewers. So for those who are watching us right now, you may share today's webinar to your friends or colleagues. And because mas maganda na mas marami tayong viewers, kumbaga mas maganda na sabay-sabay tayong matuto ngayong araw, hindi ba? The more, the merrier, ika nga. So, and please like our page, Heartist Webinar Series on Facebook, and continue to follow us for to be updated on our upcoming webinar series. Again, these webinar series are all for free. So, ano pang inaantay nating lahat? Halina't samahan kami na kilalanin at mahalin ang mundo ng sining. Alright? At syempre, para mas matuto tayo sa mga bagong kaalaman para sa art education. Alright? And before I proceed, introducing our speaker, magkamustahan at magtanungan muna tayong lahat, mga Facebook at Zoom participants, alright? So una, gusto kong malaman kung ano ang nararamdaman ninyo ngayong umaga. So through chat box sa Zoom and comment section naman sa Facebook Live, I would like you to type or key in the emoji that best describe how you feel today. So, after that, gusto ko rin na, kumbaga, i-key-in nyo rin kung bakit yun yung emoji na nararamdaman nyo today. Alright? So, participants, excited and curious si Ma'am Carmencita. Alright. Who else? Excited. Siguro kung ako yung magkikiin ng emoji, I'll be ikikiin ko ang happy face kasi nagagalak ako ngayong araw at nagkita-kita ulit tayo ngayong Sabado para sa bagong learnings. Alright? Next, happy face kay Miss Hazel. Excited kay Ma'am Anna Imperial. Happy face. What about in our Facebook Live? Okay, happy face then. Happy and relax muna for a while. Oo, great and excited. Looking forward this third webinar series from Miss Irish Joy, ang isa sa pinaka-active nating participant since day one. Alright? And talaga namang sari-sari. Curious, according to pahabol kay Sir Nixon. Alright? Bakit kaya curious, sir? Alright, siguro kung ano yung bagong malalaman natin about sa ating webinar ngayong araw, no? So talaga namang sari-sari, iba-iba ang ating nararamdaman ngayong araw. May masaya, may excited, may curious, sabi nga, may relax. Siguro yung iba, um, eager na may eagerness talaga ngayong araw para matuto sa ating webinar ngayong araw, right? So, bago, kayo naman po, so it has something to do with kung sari-sari yung ating nararamdaman, ito ay may kinalaman sa ating topic ngayon which is diverse. Alright? So, ano ang unang salita naman na pumapasok sa inyong isipan kapag narinig nyo ang salitang diverse? Sige nga, kahit one word lang po. Unique, according to Ma'am Ana Imperial. Alright, siguro nag-iisip pa yung iba 'no, kung ano yung mga yung salitang mai-ko-connect nila when we say diverse. Differences, different according to Ma'am Arlene, alright. So very good. Ah, later on alamin natin kung ito nga ba ay may connection sa ating webinar series ngayong araw, right? So, kung kayo ay tumututok sa'min since day one, pang-ilang webinar series na kaya tayo ngayon? Nasagot na ito, eh, pero ulitin natin to see if sumusubaybay kayo sa aming webinar series. Pang-ilan na po tayo? Second, according to Ma'am Carmencita. Alright, nandito na tayo sa ating third webinar series. Thank you, Ma'am Jovalie. And kanina na-mention na rin ito sa atin ni Ma'am Irish. Alright? And now, ang HeART's webinar series is a collaborative effort of University of the Philippines Diliman College of Education, Art Education Area, and the Trimex Colleges. At this point, let me now introduce our speaker this morning. She is uh, she is an art workshop facilitator. She is currently taking her Masters of Arts in Education, major in Art Education in UP Diliman. She is a digitally literate educator and a director of an international program. So without further ado, to discuss to us diverse learners seeing silver linings in differences with a heart, let me present or let us all welcome Teacher Jezel Eliadora. Teacher Jess.
Hi everyone, good morning. I am Jess, your speaker today, and we will talk about diversity, specifically diverse learners, and seeing differences with a heart. Now, we will learn what diversity is, why it matters, and how can you create a positive learning environment for your students. Let's start. First, let me ask you these questions. Do you have a clear sense of your ethnicity and cultural identity? Are you confident with your skin, family, appearance, and even your gender identity? Have you ever experienced being put in a spotlight and choose to conceal your identity because you are not comfortable with the people surrounds you, the community you're living? Do you want that kind of community for your child, children, even your students? Or will you do something now? Will you do something to be the agent of change? Today, we're going to talk about diversity. So, what is diversity? Based on Merriam-Webster, it defines diversity as an instance of being composed of differing elements or qualities, an instance of being diverse. Diversity is about differences, empowering differences in terms of your age, gender, sexual orientation, your ability, religion, and so on and so forth. And when we say diverse learners, it means that students or learners coming from different backgrounds. How do we understand difference? First, you must make it clear to yourself as an educator and to your students that being different is not a bad thing. You need to help them or to make the learners realize that being unique is a gift. You need to get to know more students. We should care more genuinely for our learners, students, and teach them how to care as well. Example, in an art class. Madalas, we ask our students to share their artworks. And makikita mo, they have the different interpretation because they have different personal experience. So if you ask them to draw a picture of a happy family, iba-iba ang makikita mo. Merong the usual na my mom, dad, and themselves, children, or the child. And meron namang iba na ang ito-drawing nila is just their mom or just their dad, even just with their grandparents. Or some of them, you might be surprised, they will just draw dogs. Because ganun nila ini-interpret ang happy family. And you need to acknowledge their interpretation and allow them to feel that they are valued and they are accepted. Next is maintain consistent communication. So, despite of your hectic schedule, alam naman natin na sobrang daming paperworks, daming chechekan, super busy, but try to allot some time to get in touch with your students. What they have learned, how do they challenge their way of thinking during the art session, and you need to establish a genuine conversation to make your students trust you and boost their confidence, to be honest. This way, you will determine who among your learners needs more support. Next is give students freedom and flexibility. First is, we all know, alam nating lahat na ang students, mas natututo sila kapag china-challenge natin sila. That's why we also have to let them explore. Do not just limit your students with what to draw, how to do a certain art products or crafts. Hayaan natin silang mag-isip. Hayaan natin sila na ipakita yung mga talent nila. That they are capable of doing something, that they are creative. Because you would agree when I say that children are naturally born creative. Our role is to hold them and help them be the best version of artist they want to be. Allow them to show problem solve and makikita mo na ang mga bata is they will think outside of the box because they are unique. They are naturally unique, which is that's an advantage, right? Now the question is why diversity matters. Diversity matters because being part of the class with a diverse students, classmates, will allow the learners to think unconventionally and discover things about the world, communities. Diversity helps learners to gain ideas, new perspective, and it permits them to explore different cultures, beliefs, which in the end, it will challenge as well the status quo. Learners will obtain multiple perspectives, which empowers respect and acceptance towards their classmate or the people around them. The next question is, how will you promote? So if diversity matters, how will you promote a positive learning environment for your diverse students? First is you have to pay attention and take action if you notice intolerance. So do not allow your class to be a place of prejudice related bullying. May it be about students' religion, race, learning difficulty, gender identity, or even body image. For example, in your art class, remember pinag-usapan natin ang DBAE nung first webinar session with Teacher Ricky. And part of that is art history and art criticism. So you can show different artworks, portraits, and let the students realize that people have their own definition of beauty. And kahit kayo, like right now, when you have a mirror beside you, or kung malapit ka sa salamin, when you look at yourself in the mirror, you'll see a distinct beauty that you must be proud of. Next is practice cultural sensitivity. So, sa K to 12 art curriculum natin, it says na ang art curriculum, K to 12 art curriculum is focused more on Philippine art, our culture, and heritage. It's because we want to appreciate the diversity of our local artists, our arts and crafts, and even our indigenous materials para mas lalong buhayin ang pagiging makabayan and even pagka-Filipino ng mga students natin. Even the Department of Education, nag-release sila ng copy ng the most essential competencies. That's MELC, or yeah, MELCs, which MELCS, which includes the goal of discussing pictures of localities where different cultural communities live, where each group has distinct houses and practices. Because we want to discuss rich variety of our cultural communities in the Philippines and their uniqueness. For example, sa Luzon, meron tayong Ifatan, of Ifugao. Sa Visayas, Ati, Mindanao, Bajau, Mangyan, Manobo, and marami pa. Marami pang iba. So, dito natin matututunan na may mga distinct characteristic ang iba't ibang cultural communities. And even napapakita nila yun based sa kanilang pananamit and even sa kanilang accessories. So, also, as an educator, we need to guide the children and warn them about the cultural appropriation. Pag sinabi nating cultural appropriation, this is the inappropriate adoption of the customs, practices, and ideas of certain community or people. For example, if matatandaan nyo, a few years back, nauso yung mga kasuotan na may disenyo hango sa mga katutubo. May mga katutubong disenyo. Pero, nakalimutan ng karamihan na hindi lang basta disenyo ang ginagawa o yung ginagaya nila sa kanilang usual na kasuotan, kundi isang kultura na may mas malalim na kahulugan para sa mga katutubo. Minsan, sa pagnanasa kasi natin na maging proud sa ating kultura, nakakalimutan natin alamin kung ano ba talaga yung kahulugan ng isang uri ng pananamit o paniniwala para sa isang pamayanan. So, kailangan nating maging maingat sa kung anong ang itinuturo natin. At it's our privilege and advantage as well na tinuturo natin ang sining. Kasi sobrang rich ng sining and art sa Philippines or Pilipinas. Next is create an environment that's designed for all students. So, syempre, you have to create an art-class environment where everyone can thrive. Of course, etong pinaka-paborito, parental partnership. So when we say parental partnership, you would agree that what the family does at home is more important to students. Lalo na ngayong pandemic, mahalaga na magkaroon tayo ng communication with the parents and guardians ng mga students to keep track on their needs and progress. And it also let us remind the parents to only help and guide the children and not to do it on their behalf. Because if they do that project and not let the students do it themselves, they impede the child's learning and growth. Ang paggawa ng art is hindi lang siya paggawa ng magandang painting, paggawa ng perfect na crafts. It's also about the process, about to sa proseso. Ano yung mga natutunan o naramdaman ng isang bata habang gumagawa ng art? It's their it's part of the learning process. And also, experience nila yon. So, next is, of course, we have to ensure full citizenship in the class. So, teachers are personally committed to achieving equity for all students. Take note na ang ginamit natin or in-emphasize natin is equity and not just equality. For example, kapag binigyan mo ng art materials yung mga students mo, like lahat sila, if you have 50 students, binigyan mo sila lahat ng art materials, tutorials, and whatnot. But when you say hindi mo hindi mo dapat agad na i-consider na lahat sila ay ma-achieve yung end goal. When you say equity, it is making sure na nabibigay mo ang sapat na suporta sa bawat bata para ma-achieve nila ang goal. So take note of the difference, equity and equality. Next is, ayan, syempre, you use art, right? So using the arts, let's say for example, yan, presenting teacher Wendy, magkakaroon din siya ng workshop dito sa ating Heartist webinar. So, ayan. By the way, si Teacher Wendy, ang ginagawa niya is, she's very creative. Gumagawa talaga siya ng mga videos, tutorials, kasi di ba ang mga bata, sobrang hilig nila sa Facebook. Sobrang mahilig sila manood ng mga videos. So, para mas lalong engaging ang class ni Teacher Wendy, gumagawa siya ng mga colorful videos para sa mga students niya. Let's say for example, teacher just wala na kasi akong time, dami ko pang tsatsikan, dami ko pang ipapasa, dami pang requirements, something like that. So wala na akong time para sa family ko, sa sarili ko, para gumawa ng mga ganyang video. I hear you, and that's a valid concern. But if you have kahit yung free Zoom account lang, pwede mo yun gamitin. Let's say for example, if you want to have a virtual exhibit or like virtual tour sa mga students, pwede ka make sure na in-upgrade mo yung Zoom account mo. Tapos, pwedeng palitan mo yung setting na instead of just a picture background, palitan mo siya ng video background. Para talagang, may motion yung background mo and mas lalong engaging para sa mga students. Alright? Now, this is actually the end of my talk. And before I say goodbye, let me just go ahead and share with you my favorite quotation from my favorite author, John C. Maxwell. So, si John C. Maxwell, he conduct a live session as well. And sakto kasi napanood ko. So, he mentioned that understanding yourself means you are comfortable with your skin. That means you know who you are. And when you know who you are, that gives you identity. If you accept who you are, that gives you security. If you enjoy who you are, it gives you fulfillment. If you improve who you are, it gives you growth. And if you share who you are, it gives you a connection with other people. Thank you for listening to my presentation, guys. I hope you learned something from that, from our diverse learners talk. And hoping na meron kayong natutunan pagdating sa ways on how you can promote a positive learning environment for your student. Because again, I would love to reiterate na kapag ang bata is na feel niya na she or he belongs to a specific class, certain group of people, it comes naturally na mag-open up sila, magiging vocal sila, and the more na magsa-step up sila, the more na maiintindihan natin sila, and the more nalalawak ang perspective ng mga bata sa isang klase. So, through art, let's all empower diversity and, of course, respect and acceptance to each and everyone. Thank you, guys.
All right. Thank you so much, Teacher Jez, for that informative and relevant talk about diverse learners. And I'm sure na ang ating mga educators and even parents and guardians na nanonood sa atin ngayong umaga ay nakarelate at nakakonect sa ating discussion for today. All right. So, dear participants in Zoom, in our face FB Live. You may now key in your questions. So habang nag-iisip pa ang ating dear participants, no, Teacher Zel.
Yes, Vance.
Alright, so magkakaroon muna tayo ng game, 'di ba? So gaya ng nakagawian natin, um, ah, mag magkakaroon tayo ng question and answer or game at kung sino ang unang participant na makasagot or makapag-key in ng kanyang sagot sa chat box or comment section ay makakatanggap ng tumataginting na 50 pesos sa kanilang GCash account. Alright? So, are you ready, participants? Sige nga, kung ready nga kayo, can you please key in thumbs up?
Excited si Miss Anna. Yes!
Yes daw, sabi ni Miss Ana Imperial. What about the others? Paano
Competitive
sa
si Miss
oo nga
Irish. Yes
eh.
din siya.
Yes din. Sa ating FB Live kaya, Teacher Zell?
Let's see.
Alright daw, yes din daw. Okay, so for our first question, um, what do you mean by diverse learners?
Para ba to sa Zoom
Sa,
participants natin,
sa
Teacher
Zoom
Vance?
participants, yes, yes. Sa ating mga Zoom participants, in your own words, sige, what do you mean by diverse learners? Siguro Teacher Jess, kahit ano, no, phrase or short description will do.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Abangan natin yung ating mga FB participants. Alright. Again, Zoom participants, what do you mean by, for in your own words, ano ang pagkakaintindi or naunawaan ninyo about diverse learners?
Kapag sinabing diverse learners, ano ba yung unang pumapasok sa
Yes.
student, sa isip
So
niyo?
ayan, very good. Meron na tayong mga kasagutan sa ating Zoom. And from Miss Irish, students with diverse backgrounds. To Miss KM, cultural differences. Okay. From Ria Boloyos, group of students who have their own experiences in life which affects their way of presenting themselves to people. Wow, tama naman. And differences according to Ma'am Esther, to Ma'am Arlene Remuto, students with different cultural background, different learning needs. Ang dami, Teacher Zelo. Nixon from Sir Nixon Navarro, individual differences, uniqueness of each learners. So, inclusion of children with diverse backgrounds, according to Miss Anna, uniqueness. to Ma'am Esther. Teacher Zell, so ano masasabi mo sa kanilang mga kasagutan?
Since lahat naman ng sinabi nila is tama, doon tayo babalik sa rule natin na kung sino ang unang nag-chat, siya
Yes.
ang makakakuha ng
Siya,
50 pesos. So,
at
sino ba ang
yun
unang
ay
nakapag-chat?
walang iba kundi si Miss Irish. Alright. Congratulations, Miss Irish.
Congratulations, Teacher Irish!
Okay. So, may questions na ba tayo, participants? Okay, siguro kulang pa 'no, kulang pa Teacher Zell na baka nag-iisip pa talaga sila ng, matinding question sa'yo ngayong umaga. So, let's proceed on to our second game. Second game tayo, Teacher Zell? Alright, para naman sa
Yes, sa
ating
FB ulit tayo.
FB
Tapos,
Live.
pwede natin silang balikan ulit for the third
Okay,
session.
alright, sige. So, for our FB Live participants, um, what is the difference between equity and equality? Based sa ating, talk this morning, ano kaya ang difference or para sa inyo, ano ang pagkakaiba ng equity sa equality? Okay?
Tingnan natin, Teacher Wen. Sino
Tignan
kaya
natin.
unang makakapag-key in ng answer nila?
Oo
At
nga.
mananalo ng 50 pesos.
Hello, again, para sa ating FB Live participants, what do you, kumbaga ano ang difference kaya ng equity sa equality? Teacher Jess, parang nag-iisip pa talaga sila 'no, kung ano yung isasagot nila.
Which is also great, right, Teacher Vance? Because if
Yes,
you're not challenged, that means you are not growing. And our goal here is for them to grow. That's why we're helping
correct.
them to learn more about diverse learners.
Okay. So, parang Teacher Jess wala pang sumasagot sa ating FB Live.
Sige, bigyan natin sila ng
Bigyan natin ng
chance.
chance.
Oo.
Oo, tama. Alright, so habang nag-aantay tayo ng kasagutan, Teacher Jess, sa ating FB Live, may question na na-erase dito sa ating
Mhm.
Zoom participant. So, coming from Ma'am Ana Imperial, first question, what teaching techniques will you recommend for students with learning difficulties, especially now that we're doing online classes?
Okay. So ito yung mga students natin na kailangan ng additional support, correct? Yeah. Para sa kanila, ito yung diniscuss natin kanina na talaga importante dito yung parental partnership. Because if you are just the teacher and it's online or virtual, medyo mahihirapan ka rin since need talaga ng assistance ng mga children na to. So you need to cooperate with the parents and of course, let's say for example, nakikipag-cooperate na si parent, ganyan. So meron kayong collaboration. Make sure na you use specific or very effective technology as well. So just like what I have mentioned earlier, siguro idaan mo siya sa mga graphics, lalo na doon, yes, virtual. So, pwede mo siyang idaan sa mga graphics na talagang makakatch yung attention ng bata. Kasi again, as you know, ang mga bata is kaya sila nagbababad sa Facebook, right? Kasi ang daming videos, dami silang nakitang pictures, or mga maraming motion, maraming ganap sa FB, kumbaga ganon. So, nandun talaga na hype yung mga attention nila and yung emotion nila. So, just like in teaching, hindi to more on sa pagbabasa, ganyan, lalagyan mo siya ng twist na parang bibigyan mo ng color, mga design, or videos, ganyan. And make sure na you also interact with the students. Maybe you can ask thought-provoking questions para rin ma-challenge sila mag-isip and to answer or interact with you as well. Did I answer the question? Miss Anna?
Miss Anna, satisfied? Nasagot ba ni Teacher Jess ang
Thank you
iyong,
so much, by the way, for the
oo?
question.
Yes po, alright.
Oh, eto
So,
na, meron na
Teacher
tayong sagot
Jess,
sa ating FB.
oo, sa FB Live meron na tayong winner. Okay, so handa na ba kayong malaman kung sino ang winner natin sa FB Live? Okay, so,
Nice.
yehey, congratulations to Miss Angela Vergonia. Okay, so yung tanong natin kanina, Teacher Jess, kung ano yung difference between equity and equality. So yung sagot niya ay equity being fair and equity being fair and equality respect different backgrounds of students. Is that correct, Teacher Jess?
Mm, okay, so let me just go ahead and review that.
Yes.
Pwede ka pa bang magbasa ng ibang answer, Teacher Wenz?
Alright, so meron pa ba tayong ibang answer from Facebook FB Live? So meron ditong, wait lang, Teacher Jess from Miss Mardileth Alora,
Mhm.
equity means being fair while equality means a balance to equal opportunity.
Perfect.
Perfect. According
Yes.
to Miss Jess, so magkakaroon ng 50 pesos worth of
50
uh,
pesos.
50 pesos
Yan.
siya, Teacher Jess, na GCash si Miss Mardileth Alora from our Facebook Live participant. All right, congratulations.
Yes. So siguro, balik tayo sa Zoom. And bigyan
Okay,
ulit natin sila ng 50 pesos.
totoo.
Yan.
Malaking bagay yun, Teacher Jess. Hindi natin mapupulot ang 50 pesos sa daan ngayong araw, tama ba?
Pang-load din siya, Wenz. And
Yes,
backup internet, kailangan natin ng backup, right?
correct. So, Zoom participants, another question for you. So medyo subjective naman tayo, Teacher Jess, no? Kasi parang mas gusto nating malaman yung experiences, 'di ba?
Yes.
Or
Mm-hmm.
your kumbaga yung sarili nilang sagot based sa kanilang experience nung sila ay nagtuturo pa sa kanilang pagtuturo or 'yun. Okay, so yan. How do you create an environment that's designed for all students? Yan, so very relevant yan, no? Mapa online class or mapa face-to-face classes?
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
Yes. So again, Facebook, Zoom participants rather, how do you create an environment that's designed for all students? So based on your experience, to accommodate all the needs of our students, paano kayo, kumbaga, paano kayo nagde-design ng environment na conducive for learning? 'Di ba, Teacher Jez?
Exactly. And since ang theme naman natin, Teacher Wens, is diverse or
Mm.
diversity, maybe hindi lahat ng nasa Zoom natin yan is, hindi sila lahat
Yes,
educator. But maybe,
educator.
you would agree when I say na lahat sila is naka-experience din ng nasa isang classroom. So maybe,
Yes.
kung hindi kayo mga educator or mga teachers, as a learner, like
Mm.
before, way back, how do you define or how would you know na talagang yung classroom is conducive for learning? Siguro may
Yes.
naalala ba kayo ng college, high school, or elementary kayo na talagang favorite yung pumasok dun sa class na yon kasi nafe-feel yun na talagang energetic kayo.
Belong.
Yes, and
Yes.
you belong to
Belong.
that class. Like, no judgment, you are accepted. And yeah,
Correct. Gusto ko yung Teacher Jess, yung accepted na word.
exactly.
Yes. Kasi kahit tayo, 'di ba? Kahit na hindi, kahit kumbaga kahit malalaki na tayo, kumbaga maganda pa rin na ma-feel natin yung acceptance sa
Yes.
ibang tao. Oo.
Mm-hmm.
Kasi that's a sign for parang nirerespeto ka nila,
Mm-hmm.
nirespeto ka nila bilang tao eh. Okay?
Exactly.
So, Ayan, Zoom participants, wag po kayong mahihiyang mag-share ng inyong mga experiences on
Siguro
how
inaalala pa nila.
yes,
Ayan.
on how you create environment that's designed for all students.
Or you as a learner before.
Yeah.
Yan. Ay, may panalo na. Sige, tingnan na. Basahin natin yung kay
Ang
Teacher
active
Irish.
talaga ni Teacher Irish 'no? Alam mo Teacher Jess parang ang bilis din nung daliri niya mag-type, okey? So, Miss Irish, in my class, I always practice inclusivity inside the classroom to address the differences of the students. Okay. So another answer from Miss Ria. I'm
Hmm.
still a student, but my professors tend to adjust their activities based on the capacity and capabilities of their students to ensure that everyone would be able to accomplish them. Uh, this seems simple pero nakakatulong talaga sa amin lalo na it's online class at di naman lahat sa amin ay may wifi sa bahay. Tama.
Yes, yes.
Correct. So what do you think, Teacher Jez?
Alam mo, si Teacher Irish, I really appreciate na sobrang active niya. And while Ria, thank you so much kasi, alam kong pagod ka rin as a student. So instead na itulog mo ang morning Saturday mo is nandito ka and you are joining, you are learning. And dahil dyan, you've mentioned na hindi naman lahat sa inyo is may wifi sa bahay. Why don't we go ahead, Teacher Wens, and give them a little bit additional present for today.
For
So,
today?
bibigyan natin si Teacher Irish ng 100 and si Teacher Ria ng 100 as well.
Wow! Mapapa-clap-clap-clap na lang ako dito sa bahay dahil talaga namang napaka-generous ng ating speaker ngayong araw. Thank you. So congratulations, Ma'am Irish and Miss Ria. Okay. So, Teacher Jez, let's proceed on our one more. Tama
Yes, all
ba?
right. One more question.
One more
Mhm.
questions. You're welcome, Miss Irish. Okay, so for our Facebook Live participants, ito naman ang inyong katanungan. Alright. In parental partnership, how will you handle a situation where parents are busy and can't help their children? Yan,
Alam mo, totoo.
napaka-relevant din
Totoo
yan ngayon,
talaga
Teacher
yan.
Jess. Dahil
Yes.
given na nandito tayong lahat sa bahay at walang face-to-face classes, so paano kaya nila naha-handle yun, no?
Yeah, actually,
Mm.
that's very relevant, Teacher Wens, kasi we all know na minsan kaya natutuwa din ng mga parents kasi they just send their children to schools and alam nila na panatag sila na safe yung mga anak nila din sa school and
Yes.
natututo pa, but now since it's pandemic they have to watch their children and also help them, right?
Yes.
Kasi alam naman natin na minsan kahit na super detailed ang instruction ni teacher, kailangan pa rin talaga ng guide ng bata. So the
Correct.
question now is paano kung super
Busy.
busy ni parent,
Yes.
'di ba? So, ano kaya as a teacher ang pwede mong gawin? First is, kagaya ng pinakita ko sa inyo kanina, yung ginawa ni Teacher Wendy, siguro kung merong access sa Facebook or social media ang bata,
Social
pwede kayong gumawa ng mga lecture na pwede nilang sundan on their own. Or pwede
alright.
sa module nila is gumawa kayo ng mga images kasi again, different learning style. And also just like what, let's see, Ria mentioned earlier, yung professor nila, even their professor use a differentiated instruction, right?
Okay,
Yes.
tama.
Mm-hmm.
So
So, go.
Teacher Jess, meron na tayong sagot sa ating, FB Live on the question in parental partnership, how will you handle a situation where parents are busy and can't help their children? So from Angela Vergonia, do home visitations, Teacher Jess.
Well, that is acceptable. However, we all know that teachers as well, you have to protect your family. So, that is very good yan, right? Lalo na kung willing ang teacher na pumunta or mag-home visitation. However, in this situation na talagang alam mo yun, may virus pa rin and whatnot, siguro it's safe just to stay at home and try to think of alternative things. But again, Teacher Wens, just to clarify, hindi we are accepting the answer. Correct? We are accepting the answer na pwede mag-home visitation. Kasi alam mo, merong mga settings, lalo na sa mga province, right? Yung may mga
Correct.
province naman na wala na silang cases ng COVID. That's why some educators are free to visit or to do home visits. So, siguro, depende na lang to sa situation nyo sa city or sa lugar nyo. But again,
Mhm.
teachers, you have to protect yourselves as well. So, okay, panalo na siya.
Panalo na
We
siya.
just have to clarify. Mhm.
Pero Teacher Jess, meron pang isang answer, eh. Siguro to parang pahabol
Yes,
kumbaga.
okay. Sige.
Kasi sayang naman kung hindi natin siya mame-mention kasi good answer
Mm.
din siya 'no.
Okay, sige, sure.
From Miss Mary Deleth Alora, we give links or other resource that can easily access by students. Example like YouTube tutorials. Ayan. So, yun yung kanyang
Ayan.
sagot. So, nagbibigay
Okay.
naman sila ng
Which
kumbaga
is, tama yun,
supplementary,
right?
oo, supplementary, videos para sa kanilang learners. Tama rin naman.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, for our
Okay.
FB Live, ang ating winner, Teacher Jez, I see, Andrela, Miss
Ang nauna,
Andrela
yes, ang
Vergonia.
nauna
Alright,
nag-key.
okay. So, wait lang. Ayan, Teacher Jez. Another question for you from Ma'am Miss Anna Imperial. Will you recommend planning for easier artwork so that uh, students can do their artworks independently and will need less support from their parents?
Okay, good question. And
Yes.
siguro ang mara-recommend ko is to first, make sure na ang art or ang artwork na yan or project, it doesn't, hindi kailangan ng bata gumamit ng mga delikadong materials. So, even yung mga paint, right? So, siguro pwede kang pumili nung, alam ko merong walang toxic or whatnot na paint, right? Mabibili mo
Yes,
yan sa
meron.
National Bookstore. So, pwede mo silang i-advise, lalo na yung mga parents, na as much as possible, pwede silang gumamit ng mga safe material, and then you can come up with an artwork or an art project using those available materials. And speaking of which, that's actually our next workshop, right? So something, or we will focus more on the arts na pwede or artworks na pwede mong ipagawa sa at home.
Yes, Teacher
So
Jess,
please don't miss that session. Mm.
additional din dun sa sinabi ni Teacher Jess, no? Siguro, Miss Anna, you can also use your available materials siguro at home
Mhm.
na kumbaga puwedeng gamitin sa art kumbaga art activities or art lessons ng mga bata. So, yon. May dadagdag ka pa, Teacher Jess?
I'm all good. Yan, sabi ni Teacher Anna, looking forward to that. Definitely,
Okay.
marami kayong
Yes,
matututunan sa
teacher,
next session natin.
Miss Erica, Miss Anna, I'm sorry. Meron tayong workshop for primary grades for non-toxic and safe materials. Okay. So
Yes.
abangan 'yan sa ating mga susunod pang webinar series, okay?
Yes, lalo si Teacher Wendy.
No pressure naman ako do Teacher Jess.
Tapos na bang mga prizes natin, Teacher Wens?
Yes. And may tanong pa ba tayo? Let me check Teacher Jess kung meron pang clarifications or comments, suggestions sa ating
Yes.
FB Live. So far, parang wala naman akong nakikita. Okay. So, I think Teacher Jess, okay na ang lahat.
Yeah. So let's
Oo.
see. of course, hindi naman dito nagtatapos ang ating webinar. Again, just
Yes.
like what I have mentioned, Teacher Wendy, meron tayong next, and that will be workshop. Because it will be alternate. First is magkakaroon tayo ng webinar, and then workshop, webinar ulit, and then workshop. Ayan. So for
Yes.
our next art workshop session, okay, so ang magiging speaker natin is none other than Teacher Wends Recto. So the title would be Art Jam Monotype Printmaking Workshop for Intermediate Teachers. So that would be on May 15th, 2021, of course, this year. Okay, 10 o'clock, same time and same venue via Zoom and FB Live. So just a reminder, only first 40 registrants can join Zoom with Q&A. Ayan.
Okay.
And it's for free.
Correct, Teacher Jess.
Alam mo, Teacher Wentz, naisip ko lang, um, Mother's Day na, right?
Yes. Buka.
Yes.
Ano?
Sino ang mga
Sunday.
mother na dito? Or aspiring mother? Or feeling mother?
Tomorrow.
Pwede, di ba sa mga fur baby natin, I'm a feeling mother ako. Sa fur baby ko. Alright. Yes, tomorrow. So, sino dito ang mga may baby na, ganyan?
Gina,
I
yes.
think all teachers are parents. Correct?
I agree,
Yes.
Teacher Jess.
Aspiring? Yes. So, sige, bigyan natin sila ng, i-highlight natin sila today. Yan. So, for you, teachers, parents, or even students, may students tayo dito. For you, why do you think, kung share mo yung name ng professor or teacher mo, parang it's like a shout out to your
Wow.
teacher or professor na super love mo kasi ang laki ng na i-contribute nila sa growth
Kumbaga
mo
may impact,
personally.
no? Oo, may
Yes.
impact
So
sa
sila
kanilang
talaga
growth.
yung Yes, sila talaga yung nag-inspire sa inyo. So can you please share with us, turn on your video and comment I like that. So tatawagin namin kayo.
Okay. So,
Anyone?
Teacher Jess, kapag
Oh,
ask
si
from,
Hassel. Hassel, is it okay if we ask you a couple of questions or you can just share with us ano yung impact na nabigay sa'yo ni Teacher Brenda Abelgos? Okay? Can you turn on your video and unmute yourself?
siguro, Teacher
Natin
Jess,
siya,
kung hindi
teach.
pa sila ganun ka-confident mag-turn on ng video, pwedeng mic, no?
Pwede, yes. So again,
Oo.
diverse learners, diverse participants. Okay.
Yes.
Sige. So gusto namin marinig kung ano-ano ba yung mga naging impact ng mga previous teachers nyo or even professors sa
Yes.
kung ano kayo ngayon. Sila ba yung nag-build ng confidence nyo? Yan. So wait natin si Teacher Hassel. Or if may iba pang na willing mag-share, please feel free to do so.
Mukhang nahiya, Teacher Jess, si, si Hassel.
Alright. So sige, anyone?
Kanya yan.
Shout out nyo yung teacher nyo or professor. Okay. Siguro mag-count tayo ng 10.
Okay,
Alright?
go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1.
May naisip ako, Teacher Wens, hindi kaya sila nag-aalangan dahil hindi nila maalala yung name ng teacher nila? Maybe that one?
Baka, Teacher Jess.
Okay. So,
Baka.
sige, participants, in case na hindi nyo maalala yung name ng mga teachers nyo, for sure, kahit isa sa kanila, merong nakatulong sa inyo. Right? So, sige, count ulit kami ng 10. Pag wala, we will end the session. Yeah,
Yes.
good? Okay, so
Okay. So, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Nahiya na sila, Teacher Jess.
naku, sayang may surprise
May
pa naman.
surprise pa naman
Okay.
sana.
Sige,
So,
go
but
ahead,
before
Teacher
that,
Wens.
Teacher Jess, again, we would like to invite everyone to see you again next Saturday for our upcoming art jam. So this is our
Yes.
second art jam, no, Teacher Jess, entitled Monotype Printmaking,
Yeah.
workshop for intermediate teachers. Okay, so before
And
we end
also,
our, yes, Teacher Jess?
yeah, please don't forget yung ating evaluation. Ayan.
Yes, ito
So,
na nga,
siguro
Teacher
pwede natin
Jess.
i-scan, Teacher Wentz, evaluation natin.
Ayan.
Okay.
So yan, participants, pwede nyo nang iscan ang ating evaluation link for this morning. So, hmm, where can we find the link po for the next webinar?
Don't worry kasi ipopost din yan kasama ng
Yes.
poster ni Teacher Wentz sa ating Facebook page, which is the Hardest Webinar Facebook page.
And Teacher Jess, kung sino yung
Yan.
40,
Tapos,
no?
again, first 40 participants lang po ang entertain for the Zoom.
Yes.
Mhm.
Sorry po, from habang evaluate Teacher Jess yung ating mga participants, may mga may pahabol si Hassel kasi sorry, lost connection po. Kaya hindi siya sagot sa atin kanina.
Oh,
So,
okay. Hassel, is it okay if you turn on your video or you are more comfortable just audio?
yes. Habang nag-evaluate ang ating participants, Teacher Jess.
Mhm. Siguro mahina din ang connection currently ni
Mm.
Miss Hassel, no?
Oo.
Sige.
Okay lang yung Teacher Jess. At least, na-shout out niya yung kanyang
Teacher.
teacher.
Yes. So,
Okay.
congratulations po.
And, okay na ba tayo, Teacher Jess?
Yes, I'm good.
Alright. So again, dear participants, thank you so much sa pagdalo sa ating third webinar series ngayong umaga. And sama-sama po ulit tayong matuto next Saturday. Alright? Maraming salamat po sa ating lahat.
Thank you,
And
everyone. See you again
goodbye.
next
See you
week.
again next week.
Or
Hi
this tour.
everyone, we would just like to request for everyone to turn on their videos for picture taking. We would just like to document today. Thank you.
Ayan, makikita na natin silang lahat.
Alright?
Nakakatuwa naman si Miss Hassel, right?
Ayan. Okay, game na. Game na tayo. 1, 2, 3, smile. Another one po. Waki naman. 1, 2, 3, smile. Alright. Thank you so much
Teacher
again.
Wentz, siguro pahabol na lang rin since na-appreciate ko si Hassel. Talagang sumagot
Mhm.
siya and nakita ko talagang, alam mo yung kahit hirap siyang mag-connect, siguro since ano naman tomorrow Mother's Day and nag-shoutout siya
Okay.
sa teacher niya, talagang na-appreciate niya. Bigyan natin siya ng 300.
Wow! Narinig mo ba yon, Miss Hassel? Talaga namang napaka-generous na ating speaker for today. Okay, so wow naman daw, Teacher Jess. So pwede kayong hihingin yung GCash number, right?
Yes,
Oo.
yes.
Isi-send ang GCash number sa ating Heartless
Facebook
Webinar
page. Mhm.
Facebook page. Okay. Thank you so much again, participants, and see you next Saturday.
Thank you. Bye.